Welcome everyone to today's digital marketing workshop. Hey Jomar, nice to see you. Let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from today. We are very lucky and privileged to be joined by Freddie.
Hello.
Hey Freddie, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tim. Hello everybody.
So Freddie is one of the marketing consultants here at Exposure Ninja, and fair to say, Freddie, you've analysed a few websites in your time?
Just a few, yeah.
So today we're going to be mainly focusing on traffic generation strategies. So we've got a whole bunch of sites that have been submitted previous, and we're also going to be analyzing the sites of people who submit them in the comments. So if you want us to look through your site, then feel free to drop it in the comments. Just a quick tip on that. If you want to submit your website, then just drop the URL in the chat, but remove the dot before .com, right? So if you wanted to submit Exposure Ninja, you would say Exposure Ninja space .com, just because some of the platforms, if they see you posting a link, they assume that you're a scammer, so they will take you out the back and put a bullet through your head, and we don't want that in the Facebook Lives. So yeah, do drop your comments if you've got any questions, if you've got any suggestions about any of the sites that we're looking at as we go through. Really keen to get your feedback and get your take on things, because of course we are all in marketing. There are no single right answers. There are often single wrong answers, but there are no single right answers, so it's always good to get a broad range of different feedbacks. Hamza, great to see you. Good to see you, Norvin. Welcome, Alexis, Julian, Manon, Jomar. Julian, I've known you for quite some time. That is great. Good to see you. Okay, so we wanted to kick off today with some difficult marketing challenges, and may even put Freddie on the spot here at some point. So we were set a couple of marketing challenges, or given a couple of tricky marketing questions to answer. I think they actually both came from the same person. So I'm going to show you the site, but we're going to talk about the broader strategy, because everything that we're looking at today, there are implications, there are ways of implementing this stuff for your business. So don't look at it and say, well, that's a different, this is all about e-commerce fulfillment. It would never apply to me. It absolutely does. There are just ways of using this strategy. So the question, the challenge that was posed to us was, how do you market a business, or how do you drive traffic to a business like this, given that the audience doesn't necessarily know they need it, or doesn't know that they've got a problem? So I've got some suggestions on this, which I wanted to run through, because actually it's a really important mindset tweak as much as anything. So Freddie, first impressions on the site, first of all. Multi-channel e-commerce fulfillment seems pretty straightforward.
I think it looks really good in terms of the way it's laid out, and really clear in terms of that headline as well. And we've got the call to action above the fold, clear phone number as well if someone wanted to call up and ask any questions. So overall, I think it's looking pretty strong.
Would agree. Would definitely agree. Sign up now, whether that's too high commitment or not. Maybe there might be a take a trial or see how it works or something like that. We've got to get a brochure, but maybe a bit low perceived value. But yeah, overall, I think the site looks pretty ready to go, doesn't it? So the challenge that was posed is, how do we drive traffic to a site where people don't know what they need? Firstly, I would challenge that assumption with this business, because actually e-commerce fulfillment is a perfectly legitimate keyword. £8 CPC, not huge search volume, because obviously the target audience is e-commerce owners. We actually have some in the channel, so do let us know what would make you buy from a business like this rather than somebody else. But that is definitely a phrase worth targeting. So I'd be running ads, I'd be targeting organic traffic to that. But let's make this challenge a little bit difficult. Let's take away that main keyword. Let's take away the other related keywords, 3PL and all that stuff. Let's assume that there are no commercial keywords available for this business at all. We can't target people searching for what we do, because nobody knows what we do as a thing. Well, there are still ways that you could drive traffic to this business. For example, people with e-commerce fulfillment providers who are having issues with those providers, they're going to be searching for different things. Maybe they want to open another channel. So they're on Amazon, they want to start Shopify, or they want to build their own WooCommerce site, or they want to get into eBay. They might have questions about how they integrate across different platforms. So there could be questions that they're asking there. they might be looking for alternatives to the platform that they're already on, or some of the best known platforms in the space. So they might be searching for X brand alternative. So there are still loads of things that you could run ads to and target organic traffic to. Let's just say we wanted to take away all of that traffic though, and we couldn't target any people who were searching at all. There were no search terms that anybody would search, which would bring up this site. How would we market it? Well, we'd use a variation of the traditional magazine approach. So if we think about traditional magazines and what the purpose of a magazine is, people often get this wrong. I remember I knew a girl in magazine ad sales for a while, and she kind of corrected my perception on this. So the traditional view of magazines and newspapers is that they are content, they are information, they're articles, they're reviews and that type of thing. And we think of these companies as, you know, writers and journalists and people who are writing this information. And we think of that as the business model. They sell the magazine, they sell the newspaper. Actually, really what they are is honeypots to attract people with particular interests. So my dad is into model railway, right? It's one of those things, until you know that it exists, you'd never guess that it exists. So he's really into model railway and he loves it. And there are lots of model railway magazines out there. And really what these are is they are places for people that are into model railway to gather so that advertisers in the model railway space can take a whack at them. It's just a way of collecting people with that particular interest so advertisers can take a hit at them. And really, this is what magazines are, whether it's drumming magazines or model railway magazines or property magazines or whatever. It's a way of collecting people with an interest so advertisers can take a whack at them. This isn't, by the way, just magazines. If we think about TV programs, Love Island. What is Love Island? Love Island is a piece of content designed to attract people of particular interests and demographics so that advertisers can take a whack at them. So we can take this approach and we can adopt this online. So all we're really doing is creating information that our target audience is going to be interested in. We can build a site, in this case, which is of interest to e-commerce managers or e-commerce business owners or e-commerce fulfillment managers, and give them information that they're interested in so that advertisers, i.e. us, can take a whack at them. And this is really all that content marketing is. Being brutally honest, this is what this video is. This video that we're recording now, we've got Freddie on here and we're talking about how to improve your results with digital marketing so that advertisers, i.e. Exposure Ninja, can take a whack at you. Now, we're offering a whack in a very nice way, and we offer you a free website review, but we're doing this to grow our business. That is the truth of it. So content, the world of content, unless you're reading a book, unless you're buying a book that you've paid a high initial price for, the content is just there to get your attention focused in one place. So that's a model that we can use. You know, however much commercial informational search there is about the business, if we're creating a site here, which is basically an information site for e-commerce business owners or e-commerce marketing managers or whatever about how to scale their e-commerce brand, how to open new channels, how to improve their profit margins, that's going to be the sort of thing that they're interested in. And then when we get them on the site, we take a whack at them. We offer them a call to action. We get them signed up for something, which then leads them down this journey to becoming a customer of Hubu. So yes, Manon suggested, how about even blog posts on how to make the most of Amazon, eBay, and then once they're on your site, you sell them your service. Exactly. That is exactly the approach to take. So this could be blog posts, it could be podcasts, it could be videos, whatever. It could be roundup pieces where you get influential e-commerce fulfillment people and they talk about how to streamline your e-commerce fulfillment process. And by the way, you probably want a great e-commerce fulfillment partner who works multi-channel. You know, it's really straightforward. So actually, challenge defeated. I think we nailed that one, Freddie. Next one. This one, the challenge with this one, Freddie, I'm going to give this one straight to you. So this business has a potential audience of 80 people, right? 80 potential customers for this business. How on earth do you drive traffic, or how, let's make it broader than that. How on earth do you get more customers for a business like this? I mean, we could talk about the website first if you want to.
I think that's probably a good place to start, isn't it? Because without a good website, it's going to be hard to convert traffic that's landing on it. So just from the homepage itself, it took me a little while to understand what this business does, and I think that's the first issue, really. So really, what we want to be doing is explaining that in as easy possible way, and then making it clear and obvious how people can then start that process of actually working with them. And at the moment, it looks like we've got some good trust signals. We've got businesses that they're currently working with, for example. But there's a lot of information here, and it's not really clearly laid out exactly how they help. That's probably the first thing to be mentioning. I don't know what else you think about it, Tim.
Yeah, I'd agree. I had a quick look through this site, and I have no idea what they offer or who the target audience is. So there might be 80 people in this space. That means if you get 2 of those 80 on your site today, you don't want to be freaking messing them around, and you don't want them to bounce, do you? Like, yeah, no idea what they do, no idea what the benefit of this is. It's more like a mission statement. It's like a corporate mission statement than a description of what a business does. So, yeah, I'd agree with you.
Exactly that. And I think as well, having the video at the top is you're sort of expecting people to click on that and to watch it, and hopefully they're going to understand what you do there. But even the video itself doesn't really properly explain. It's quite fluffy in the way that it's been put together. So yeah, exactly that. We really want to try and get across to people what this business does, who they can help. And I think the first step they've really done with doing that is saying what we do in the header, in the menu section. They've spoken about some of the type of businesses they work with, which is a really good start. But there could be definitely more information here about who they help on their homepage, so that way people can find the most relevant section to them.
Yeah, if you're an estate agent and you come onto this site, you want to be hit straight between the eyes with, bam, we help estate agents X, and X has to be something which is massively compelling to them. It looks like there's something to do with blockchain. I've managed to pick that up. If we're having to sell a concept and our service to someone, there's absolutely no room for messing around. We need to be talking in the language, and we're talking about the things that are really compelling to our customers, not fluffing around with, we're digitally connecting the UK. Like, if I'm an estate agent, I'm thinking, well, hold on, I've already got email. I'm already digitally connected to the rest of the UK property market. It doesn't... Print says, is it beneficial to add customer logos? One of the things that they could do once they start getting some of the 80 customers is, yes, add those logos to the site, so that at least if if their target audience is, let's say, estate agency groups, if I'm targeting those groups and I land on this site and I see that my competitors are already customers or clients, then that's something that's definitely a step in the right direction for kind of qualifying.
They've also mentioned as well there, print.co.uk. Without testimonials, can they be believed? And I think that's a really important thing to mention as well, is we really want to get across a bit of trust with this site, especially if it's where you've got no idea what they do. Even just a quote from a happy client or customer is going to explain how they've helped them. You can see actually at the bottom there are a few bits here about how I can't actually read that too well, but I'm not sure if they're blog posts or reviews themselves.
Yeah, the trouble is there's actually it doesn't make it any clearer when you read this about how it works. Yeah, it's really not ideal. So print says logos on their own look spammy. We would always recommend if you don't have testimonials, include logos anyway, because you've got some kind of credibility there. What you don't want is people landing on a page and feeling like, I'd be the first mug that did this. I want to feel like it's safe, like there's other people already in there. So any sign of life at all is generally good. If you don't have testimonials yet, then logos of businesses. So let's talk about traffic generation then, because we need to get the site tidied up. Otherwise, all the traffic in the world is going to be absolutely pointless. If you've only got 80 customers, yes, I would be running ads on the sorts of things that they might be saying. It's going to be really low traffic. So I'd almost pay whatever it costs for CPC. Let's say that let's say that we're offering here estate agent blockchain network. Let's say that that's the thing that we're targeting. I don't know what the keyword is because it's completely unclear, but let's say that that was the thing. You'd obviously run ads on that, even though you might only get 3 clicks a month, because the potential quality of that is very high. But if I've only got 80 customers per month, I probably wouldn't make search my main thing. I'd probably find other ways to get in front of those people. So whether that's writing roundup posts where we interview all of them, contact all of the target customers in your space and ask them, what are the trends that you're looking out for in 2021? And what we're really looking to do is start the conversation with them. If you've only got 80 people, you're really not doing a huge amount of marketing. It's more sales, right? You just want to get people in your world, and then you can start kind of over time introducing them to the concept. So I do things like roundup posts. I might have an awards thing, right? If all of your clients are estate agency groups, you might have a estate agency group of the year awards that you run, and you get people to submit a bit of information about their business, and then you have an awards thing and it's free to enter, and you might have like an online presentation thing and a logo that they can add to their website, whatever it is. And what you're really doing is that's just your content marketing strategy to generate leads effectively. You might want to interview them on a podcast. You could have one interview with each of the 80 people, great way of getting to know them. And then you might offer, we run a newsletter, or we run an information or private group where we all share information about what's happening in this space, like we'd love you to join or something like that. So I'd really just think about collecting them in a pool in some way that allows you to start talking to them and get to know them, and positions you as an authority in that group as well. So it's not something where I'd maybe go hard with SEO on, because if you've got 80 people and each of them search for something in this space twice a year, then you've got 160 potential searches per year. If you work out what that is cost per click for SEO, then you're looking in 4 figures. So something much more straightforward than that. Anything else you'd add there?
I would say once you've got people on the site, you want to be thinking about remarketing, making sure that you're staying front and center of their minds. Otherwise, potentially they might see you once and then forget about you. And then the other way you could be sort of getting that relationship building side of things going too is providing some sort of potentially white paper, some sort of case study, where someone gives you their email, so a lead magnet, and then you can continue to nurture them with more content that's going to be relevant to them and help them therefore become more likely to actually inquire and start that sales process with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Manon says she still doesn't know what they do. No, we don't either, Manon. We've had to give up. If you're from Coadjute, then hopefully that's useful. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some traffic generation strategies. We've got a whole bunch of sites being submitted in the chat. So if you want to submit your site, then don't forget to drop your URL in the comments, and we will add them to our list, our to-do list. I was saying to Freddie before we start, I normally get like 5 or 6 sites up and then think, we'll get through all of these and we'll do the audience submissions, and then we do like 3 for the whole day. So if you submit your site during the session and we don't get to it, we add it to the to-do list for next week. So don't worry. It's a fairly long list, but submit it, and there's more chance of us doing it if you submit it than if you don't. Okay, the Winter Sports Company. So this is a site that was submitted prior to the session today. Let's talk about how we convert some of this traffic. Then let's talk about how we drive traffic and what the priorities would be for a business like this over the course of 2021. So Freddie, what you're thinking as soon as you land on this, if this is one of the sites that you're working on consulting with, what are some of the key pieces of feedback immediately? And by the way, if you're in the comments, what would you say to this site owner as well?
I think first of all, it's important to identify the good things. So in terms of the header section and the menu, that's looking quite strong, at least in terms of visibility. We've got some ways for people to contact them. So we've got the phone, the WhatsApp, and the email. But in terms of the messaging and getting across what they do, expand your horizons. I don't think it's really adding much value at the moment. The imagery though is beautiful. And then it's more going to be about making sure that we're, again, identifying that people that are on this site, that this business is going to be able to help them, whether that's with courses, those internships, or I'm not a skier, so I'm not too sure what ski patrol and backcountry means, but maybe Tim.
I've been skiing. I don't know what those mean, but I think I am a skiing ignoramus. I think that's the technical term for it. Certainly I'm one of those people that sticks very rigidly to the well that doesn't necessarily look like the sort of thing I want to be.
No, I think the main thing with the homepage and also that page you've just landed on, there's no real clear direction of what we want the user to do when they land on the site. And I think that's probably the key thing that it's missing, is some sort of call to action. What's the next step that we want them to do? Do they need to find out more information? Do they have to fill in a contact form, or request some sort of consultation process to work out if they're going to be eligible for the courses that they're running? It's those sort of things that are going to sort of drive conversions early on. And then I think we want to be looking at the information that's on the site and making sure that it tallies up with what people are expecting to see, answering any questions that they might have as well. So the good thing is they've got a few reviews from what I can see, so that's a positive.
Yep. Yeah, we've got some reviews, and Hams is asking about the contact methods as well. I left this site open a little while ago and noticed that there was some big like orange things which kind of focus your attention on these three. So I mean, it's great, and having a WhatsApp call to action we've found to be really beneficial for particular types of business. Others have had it and don't get a huge volume, but sometimes the quality can be good. The problem with this is, at the moment, it's almost like a brochure just with a business card taped to it. And I think we need to have something more specific, a specific nudge to go to these CTAs. It's not just enough to just have the CTA and just hope that people would you like to talk about our courses is really generic. So if we were going to increase the conversion rate of this, I think definitely having some kind of clear CTA, which is a logical next step, such as, maybe the brochure might be a next step. Let's see if that opens, if it requests. Okay, yeah, so we've got a lead capture there, which is pretty cool. So that might be one thing to do. There might be some, what's the next step that people take? The next step probably isn't to book the course directly. There's something that happens before then. So how can we position that? How can we turn that into something that people actually want to do? And then we could direct them to WhatsApp to collect that thing. Or we could get them to email us or whatever. So these are great as a kind of catch-all if someone gets really stuck, but they don't replace the need for a clear site-wide call to action, particularly if they're not positioned in any way at all. They're just kind of there. Okay, so this looks like the process that we're supposed to go through. Okay, ski patrol is like lifeguard for skiing. Backcountry is taking people off. Right. So this is going to, like Manon said, if people know skiing, then that stuff's going to make sense. So that's fine. You can use stuff that only people who are into it know, and they're going to see that and go, okay, great. This is for me. This is the right sort of experience level. So that's great. Okay. We'll lay off the criticism there. So, okay, BASI level 1 and 2, ski instructor, Verbier, Swiss Alps. Looks like we need to update some of these dates. Inquire now. Okay, so inquire now is it's a pretty strong CTA for a course like that without any information about it. Or is this the information? This is the information. Okay. So Freddie, what are you thinking about conversion rate on a page like this?
What would you expect it to be in terms of percentage?
What would we expect it to broadly be high, or would it be low? What could we do to kind of nudge it up a little bit, do you think?
So I'm thinking it's going to be fairly low, because a lot of or at least quite a bit of the key information isn't above that fold section. We are answering questions, which is good, further down the page, but you'll have to open up those little tabs to actually see the answers, which is, again, it's adding sort of a bit more effort for the person who's on the site to go and do that. It's really hard to say in terms of percentage without actually.
We wouldn't expect it to be high. I'd put it that way. There might be. I mean, we've got, as a CTA, we've got inquire now, which is okay for real commercial intent. To be honest, that's probably the biggest catch-all you can have. Some of the things I'd look at would be getting some credibility in there. So, if we're selling a 9K course, I need to know that it's going to help me get to my goals. So what are my goals as a ski instructor? Well, I might want to transition to becoming a professional ski instructor. I might want to travel the world. I might want to work 3 months of the year and travel the rest of it. Or I might want to do different seasons in different hemispheres and just, so whatever my goal is as a ski instructor, I need to know that this is going to get me there. So I'd be looking at case studies of people who, this is Andre, and he wanted to become a ski instructor, and he took the course. And now what does he say? He says, well, I spend my I spend my summers in Argentina and my winters in the Alps, and I absolutely love it. I become a ski instructor. This is my life's goal, that type of thing. Manon says, yeah, lots of videos would be good for skiing. Absolutely. You're selling the lifestyle, aren't you? And I think we're almost there with some of the pictures used on the core pages. But really, we need to do a lot better job of selling this. This needs to essentially be an infomercial for life as a ski instructor, but then also becoming a ski instructor, and why this is the definite next step that they need to take, and it needs to be through your company because X. And we really need to do a good job of that. This isn't the sort of thing that's just a commodity purchase. Like, oh, I need a BASI level 1, right? Where's the first site I can find that offers that? Boom, there we go. We really do need to sell this a bit more. So the other thing I would think is, when someone inquires, what are the conversations? What's the information that you give to them? What do those conversations look like? What are those frequently asked questions? And can we put all of that information into a compelling presentation on this page, whether that's text or whether that's video? They're going to have questions. You're going to be finding out about them. You're going to be answering their objections and some of their fears and concerns. Like, don't be afraid of having a lot of information on this page. This is a big decision for people. This is potentially the next step in their life. So we need to treat it appropriately. So I wouldn't be afraid of having this as a long form page with robots, with videos in, with some information about you, with some information about the instructors, some videos from the instructors and that type of thing. So work harder on the site is what I would definitely say. Okay, let's talk about how to drive traffic to this site then, Freddie. So 2 questions for you. What would you be doing right now? And then what would you be suggesting when lockdown eases?
It's a good question, isn't it? So I think at the moment we want to be focusing on making sure that they're ranking on Google for the type of search terms that people are going to be looking for, who are interested in becoming a ski instructor. These could be specific based on those locations that they're targeting as well, which would be one way of doing that. Obviously, you've got the different levels there too. So there's going to be quite a few different search terms we could be focusing on. I guess the more specific they are, the higher the intent's going to be as well. And so you probably want to be thinking about which order do you want to be focusing these on to drive that traffic. I haven't had a chance to look at the sort of domain authority with this particular site, but then again, that would be another way to be really pushing things forward, making sure that they're getting links back from other sites by using maybe content marketing to help drive that visibility even further. That's definitely one area we want to be focusing on.
Absolutely. It looks like they've actually got so I just searched for BASI level 1 Canada, which I noticed they had some courses in Canada, and BASI seems to be one of the qualifications. It actually looks like they got some blog content ranking for that. And it doesn't look too bad. I mean, the information is pretty much there, isn't it? I think the next step is turning this from just a guide, which is just useful to the audience, to turning this into a guide which is useful to the audience and sells you specifically. So I think that's really the next step, how you would tie in calls to action to the intent behind this. So which is the best ski instructor course? Looks like we've got BASI versus CSIA. Could we create something where there's a lead capture piece for people? Could they, take a questionnaire or do some sort of guide where it gives us an excuse to capture their details, which we then put them on a list and email them information about what it's like to become a ski instructor and that type of thing. So, yeah, and then I'd have a much stronger CTA at the bottom here. We really do need to be stronger there. If someone's got to the bottom of this page, they're very clearly interested, very clearly qualified. And then once you've decided on which is the best ski instructor course for you, research the program thoroughly, make a booking and have the season of a lifetime. I mean, come on, you've just told them, research us and go for it, but you haven't even given them a link to do that. So yeah, it's that needs to be much stronger. This post is probably generating, I would say, posts like this probably generating the majority of this site's traffic at the moment. And they need to be working hard because at the moment, conversion rate on this will be very, very, very low. It might even be submit your details here to get a guide to the ultimate guide to choosing the right ski instructor course for you or something like that. Okay, yeah, so content marketing, would totally agree. That'll be a definite priority, and that's something that you can be doing now before things open up. And then as soon as things open up, I'd be running ads. Now, we're not seeing ads for this term right now. It's very specific, obviously, but it's very specific, which means that it's qualified. And as Freddie said, that means the commercial intent is going to be high. So I'd be running ads for terms like this as soon as things open up. If the CPCs are reasonable, then I might go for it now, because even if this is someone in the research phase, if I can get them converted into a, whatever the guide is, whatever the informational targeted CTA is, I've got a chance of, keeping that person with me and getting them as a follower. So yeah, I think running some ads would definitely make sense. What about social ads? What sort of, what priority level do you think they would be, Freddie?
I think it'd be lower down in terms of, say, Google ads, because if people are searching directly for sort of ski instructor courses or specific types of courses, then they're obviously much further down that decision process. We could be potentially looking at more awareness with, say, Facebook ads or Instagram ads, and there's going to be some really visually compelling ways to get people's attention and also target the right people too. So you could be even getting in front of people who may have had a certain thought about doing this. Maybe they want to do, maybe they want a career change potentially, and you just need to get in front of them to sort of trigger that next step.
Yeah, I like that. This is going to be the sort of thing where it's like a lifestyle type change, isn't it? So this is the sort of thing where I'd imagine people are doing a fair amount of research about. So, a day in the life of a ski instructor type videos on YouTube, or how much does a ski instructor make? Those types of things might be real top of funnel, but they give you the opportunity to, say, build a social audience. You could put people in a Facebook group, or, start a podcast with a, an engagement group where people could ask questions about what's included in the podcast. So yeah, I love that. I think and social ads could be a really good component of that, as well as doing some retargeting. So yeah, cool. All right, loads of stuff to be done for that one, loads of potential with that, and plenty to be getting on with before lockdown eases as well. Okay, let's do a site from the submissions. So I saw one earlier from my old mate Julian, drumtracksbyjulian.com. So let's do this one, and then we'll have a look at another site from the pre-submitted list, drumtracksbyjulian.com. So I used to work in this space previous to Exposure Ninja. I was a professional drummer, and I used to do this sort of thing, online session drumming. Great. I mean, imagine this, right? You're a drummer, you love spending your time recording, but you can't be bothered to go out to the studio because that means you can only do one session a day. But if people send you your songs, you can record on them, send them back. You can do 10, 15 sessions a day. Earning potential is decent. You get paid to do what you love. It's a great, great place to be. So Julian, I think we probably did some work around getting Julian established in the space. Looks like he is there. Looks like he's got a pretty decent looking website, although maybe not updated since 2017. It looks like we've got some CTAs as well. Send me my free demo. That's cool. Love that. How does it work? Pretty straightforward. Looks like we've got an explainer video. Okay, Freddie, from someone outside the online session drumming space, because I feel like I'm soiled. What are your, so just for context, you are a professional, or you're a band, you're a musician, you want some drum tracks on your song because electric drums just don't cut it. You want a pro drummer to see what they would add to your songs. So you search for online session drumming or something like that. You hit this site. What are you thinking?
I think first of all of the information there seems to be exactly what I'm looking to see. So leading online drum and percussion recording service, I know exactly what they do, and it matches up with what I've been searching for. Professional quality live drum tracks, these are all the sort of things that I'm going to want. So that's looking really strong. I can't see, there we go. We've got the video there as well. So even if I wasn't too sure what the process was, if this was my first time trying to do this, then we've got the opportunity there to watch that, understand how that works, and it explains it fairly simply. We've got that call to action above the fold as well. So if I am ready straight away, I've not even looked at anyone else because I think this is the right person for me. I've already got the opportunity to then get that free demo, which is going to be pretty low cost to me. Well, no cost, because all I've had to do is give away my email address. And so that's a really great way to get people in. And then we've gone further down, explained a bit more about Julian, online session drummer and percussionist, and you've got a bit of social proof there as well. You highlighted BBC Radio 2, BBC Radio Wales. In terms of improving that section, we could be looking at adding some logos of those places been featured just to make it even more obvious, because you've obviously had to highlight that there. Some people might be skimming through that. I'm more detail orientated, so I'll probably read all of it. But that's just one way to mop up those people that might not be reading all of the text. And then try it now for free. Call to action is strong because we've got it's low entry. Where does that take us? Have you clicked on it?
Yeah, that takes us to a sales page for the free demo.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we could even
get a testimonial about how good the demo is or something. Like, I'll just request to my demo, freaking hell, Julian's a beast. Something like that, just to give me a little extra nudge. But it's great that you're selling this. You're selling the free demo. You're not just saying, oh, it's free, so we don't have to work hard for it. You're actually selling it. So I love that.
Exactly that. Yeah. In the same way that we offer our free review, the free demo works in a similar way, and we've got plenty of good reviews off the back of that too. So exactly that. You want to be selling the free parts of your service as well as the paid parts too.
So one thing I'd suggest, Julian, and I know this from working in the space, but video is extremely important. So when I first started this in 2009, I think it was, the ad would just be a video of me playing with little titles underneath explaining. I dread to think what the videos from 2009 look like. That would have been awful. But yeah, it's very visual. This is something that you can explain very quickly. If you have a look on YouTube, a lot of the online session drummers are now doing they're doing these contests where they're comparing their tracks against like super pro drummers and stuff like that. And you can watch a video and get quite sucked in, because drums is one of those things. It's not like guitar, which is boring to watch. Drums is really exciting to watch. And if you start with someone's boring track and you do a bit of a video about how you come up with the parts and then you show the track at the end, I think that could be a really engaging thing to both sell the process, but also sell you. And your studio and the quality of the sound and all that stuff. There's the video on the homepage is an animated explainer, which is great. But this is something I think there'll be so much more impact if we're actually seeing you playing, and you're obviously decent as well. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Cool. So website. All right, then traffic. Manon says, although technically you're not allowed to use the BBC's logo. This is Who was the quote? It's easier to apologise than to ask for permission. That's not legal advice. But if I was a solicitor, I would probably be saying that. Okay. So if we were going to drive some traffic to this, Google Ads is going to be one. It's pretty crowded since that's online session drumming. There's not massive search volume for it, but a lot of drummers are very digitally savvy, and I'd like to think I had something to do with that. Aside from that, Gumtree used to be a great way. So I'd write these ads about, if you're looking for a drummer for your band, here's the reason why you're not getting a drummer. It's because your songs sound dry and boring and your electronic drum parts just suck the life out of your music. Let me record your drum tracks for you. I'll show people what drums could really sound like on your music, and then I'd use that as a way of generating leads. So that works pretty well. I'd also check out YouTube as well. And maybe run some YouTube ads on, I'd do kind of interest targeting on YouTube. What else would you do for this sort of thing? I mean, it's going to be a whole bunch of organic stuff, isn't there? You could even take the magazine approach that we talked about earlier, and this is a space for songwriters. Let's make a community for songwriters who are recording, the recording songwriter or something like that. You start a podcast where you interview songwriters that record, or you create some interviews and stuff. You put it on your blog or whatever, and it's a way of collecting your target audience in one particular place. So there's quite a lot that you could do here. Harvey Specter. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask permission. Is that Harvey Specter from Suits? I'm not getting confused with the film. That's Weinstein, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right. So I think it's a lot harder to pay damages than to take early legal advice. Okay. So there's the opposing side of that argument. It is, yes. Although I think the trick to that is to look so small that they assume that there would be no point in pursuing you for damages. Okay, Scorpio says, are you reviewing any website we post here? Scorpio, we're going to do our best to get through as many as possible. I can make no guarantees, but feel free to submit your site. If you're going to submit your site, then remove the dot before .com. Otherwise, YouTube might take you down. Yeah, you'll be flagged as a spammer forever. So if you wanted to submit Exposure Ninja, you go Exposure Ninja .com. And by the way, great time to pitch you. If you are looking for some help with your digital marketing, if you want to increase the leads and sales that your website is generating for you, then request a free review from exposureninja.com/review. exposureninja.com/review. You get basically this, but it's more organized and it's by someone like Freddie rather than the chaos energy of Tim. So that's exposureninja.com/review. And you can request your free website and marketing review from that. So go and do that and you will be happy forever. Okay, let's look at another site then. So the next one we're going to look at is yay.com. So Yay is a VoIP phone service. We use them.
Yeah.
Some people in the company use them. Some people have given up and use their own phones. VoIP phone service. If anyone's got any recommendations of the killer app that does everything, then please let us know. We use them. Okay, so what do we do to drive traffic to a site like this? This is going to be a high-ranking site. Let's sling it in SEMrush and see what happens. I'd imagine this is going to be a high-ranking site with a huge volume of traffic. Let's just have a quick look in SEMrush. By the way, you can get a free trial for SEMrush at thankyoninjas.com. Okay, so looks like Yay has been watching Exposure Ninja videos. Their traffic chart is looking sick. So good work for them. Very low paid traffic volume. So we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So let's see where their audience is. So US and UK. Okay, so fairly even. Given that there's so much more search volume in the US, that probably means their visibility is slightly stronger in the UK. Let's just have a look in the UK to begin with. So let's look at their organic search traffic and see what they're ranking for first of all. Now, VoIP phone services, keyword cost per click through the roof, ridiculous. We would, just be grateful that you're not spending. No, actually, wait. There we go. All right, so Resus login. Imagine bidding £37 on such a competitor term, which is so unqualified for someone who's looking to move somewhere else, that they're actually searching login and you're still spending £37 a click to get those people. Right, what we're going to do, because there's loads of Yay search terms here, we're actually going to exclude anything including Yay just to give us a clean idea of what they're really ranking for. Okay, so they're ranking for lots of different numbers. We had a look at a site that was doing this. I think it might have been 8x8 a little while back. So this is a perfectly legit strategy. The traffic quality is going to be one notch up from utter crap. Okay, so if you're targeting a phrase like, 0161, numerous reasons why someone might search for that, and only one of the potentially 300 million reasons that someone might search for that is because they're looking to buy a virtual phone number starting 0161 and sign up for a VoIP system. Okay, so that's the play here. So what they've done is they may have hired an SEO strategy that's incentivized by traffic volume rather than lead quality, but we've got information about the thing, right? So they've obviously identified that targeting different area codes, that's a way of getting some traffic. And there are people who search for things like 0161 by number or by 0161 number, in which case this makes total sense. Traffic quality is going to be really low, though, really low. That's going to have the lowest conversion rate of anything you've ever seen. But with high volumes, it's a game worth playing if you can compete for it. Where do we get into the real juice? VoIP reseller. Fairly juicy. Position 1. Loving that. VoIP providers UK, position 5. Love that. VoIP providers, position 6. Okay, so doing reasonably well with organic traffic. Freddie, if you were doing a review for Yay and you had to recommend them a traffic approach, a traffic prioritization, what are some of the considerations that you're going through in your head?
So we want to be thinking about sort of the level of competition that we're up against. This is a fairly highly in-demand service with lots of competition. So we've already identified that PPC is quite expensive with those clicks. So it means that any traffic we are sending through to the site, we need to make sure it's going to convert if we're going after that type of traffic. If we're looking at trying to therefore not spend as much on, say, PPC, then SEO is going to be a much more of your priority. And we want to be thinking about, like you say, those high intent keywords, they're going to have as much value as possible to focus on those. But because we do, like you say, need to be looking at other avenues to get people onto the site, even if it is slightly lower quality, that's still going to help people get to that top of funnel stage and then potentially learn more about them and end up becoming a customer maybe slightly later in the buying cycle. So they're the sort of things we like to be thinking about. I think usually people are going to be searching for a solution because they're either annoyed with their current provider, which is some people and that could be an angle to take. It could be focusing on sort of the main benefits of your provider service and what is better than, say, one of the competitors out there. So I know a few companies like to do comparisons against their competitors and even bid on their competitor terms because it can be slightly cheaper than say bidding on the generic service type terms. So that could be an avenue to look at. So yeah, you just typed in Ring Central there. You can see that I think Circle Looper at the top there. That is one way to go about, but you need to make sure that your product or your service is good enough to be able to convince people to switch. There's a good chance if someone is typing in alternative though, they're not really too convinced by that particular product or service, so they are open to looking at something else.
Yeah, absolutely. So we first saw this in SaaS, which I guess this is, where what people would do is they'd do like a comparison chart, and it started off as you'd show your competitor with all the features and they'd all be crosses. Your competitor shit, terrible, sorry, and you really good, tick, all completely better. What we started to notice is a bit of a change where actually people would that they'd have a bit more of a balanced perspective, so they'd actually talk about areas that their competitors are a little stronger. It looks like from this what we're actually seeing a fair amount of is kind of information content type sites, potentially affiliate type sites. I'm guessing this is affiliate.
That looks like an affiliate site to me, yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, interesting. And what you can deduce from this, by the fact that they've got no links to any of them other than the first one, is that they're probably an affiliate of 3CX, but they're not really an affiliate of any of the others. Or they're probably unlikely to be affiliates of these, and they're just including them to bulk out the content. So you could potentially reach out to sites like this and see see if you've got an affiliate program already and invite them to join. What else have we got here? So this was a PPC ad. So Just Call advertising against Ring Central alternative, and you'll see that they've gone all in. Some people are a little bit scared of doing this, think that we can't really call out our competitors, this overtly. What can you say? You're either into it or you're not. But if you're pretty competitive, then you probably want to do it. So what have they got? Well, they've got one of those. They've got one of the old school tables where their competitor is rubbish and they are awesome. Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Why Just Call is better than Ring Central? So it'd be interesting to see if they've got if they've done this loads of times, if they've picked out all their competitors and they've built pages for all of them. I would expect them to have. But this is legit. If you're going to be driving, we know that these clicks are going to be expensive. We know that they're going to be high commercial intent. So you want to go with your best content. You want to be all out. So that's pretty good. Let's see what Just Call IO are doing. So I don't think this is something that Yay are doing. If we just have a quick look at their advertising research, I don't think that this is something that they're doing. And actually, when we chose Yay, it was based on their feature set, which is really competitive in the space. So it's certainly something that I'd want them to be doing. This, for me, this is fairly weak in that they're not. These are very, very broad terms. Online phone number is, not as high revenue as a business that wants to change to, wants to change PBX system where they might, virtual phone number might be something that you spend a tenner a month on. PBX system might be something that you spend 10K a month on. So I'd want to see them targeting the higher value terms. And it might be that they've looked at the CPCs for those terms and said, we don't want to play that game, which would be a real shame. But they're also advertising, or they've got ads appearing for some absolute junk in here, like Android VoIP app source code. That's really not that's not the one. And I'd also argue that some of these, like how to get a Spanish phone number, I mean, that's a really basic search, isn't it? I'm not sure that that's a sophisticated purchaser, which is going to have a lot of which is going to be massively valuable. So I'd probably say that PPC is going to be one of their main traffic sources, but be savvier than they're being at the moment.
Definitely, I think they need to maybe have a look at their negatives on their keywords. For sure. Okay, cool. So we touched on content strategy. We touched on PPC strategy. Anything else? I think, like you mentioned earlier, remarketing, retargeting, I'll go really heavy with that type of thing because the initial cost of traffic is going to be high. Getting people onto the site in the first place is going to be, you're going to be spending some time. It's going to be some energy that you're going to have to expend. So I would then be wanting to make sure that we're consistently in front of people. Now, obviously, they're going to get a lot of direct repeat custom because people coming onto the site and logging in and that type of thing. So they might want to not get those two things muddied. But there are ways around that. You can trigger the pixel if people don't go into the dashboard area and that side of things. So remarketing, retargeting would definitely be important. Okay, let's do another site from the submissions. So we've had quite a few people submit them. I'm sorry if we're going to miss you. I want to do alexandrawood.co.uk. Let's see what we've got here. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to drive traffic at the moment. alexandrawood.co.uk. Alexandra Wood. Have I spelled that wrong? .co.uk. Let's just do another search. I mean, if that is your site, Alexandra, we do have feedback for you. What we call low-hanging fruit, that one. All right, let's try. Alexandra Wood Bespoke, perhaps? Let's try that one. Okay. I have actually got experience with this website already. So
Oi!
It's been updated since the last time I looked at it.
Good. All right. So what was your feedback then? What did you change about that feedback now? I mean...
It has changed a fair bit from the last time that we looked at this site. And I think some of the things to mention off, first of all, imagery is fantastic. It's really clean. It looks really lovely. We've got the live chat in the bottom right as well. I think that's new.
Cool.
We've got some great credibility. We've got some great reviews there as well and testimonials. The one thing that's really sticking out to me straight away is the lack of navigation menu, considering we're on a desktop.
Yeah.
So we've got almost like a mobile menu at the moment. So not everyone's going to click on that. They're going to be less likely to actually look at the individual product categories there and the different options. So that's one thing definitely to be thinking about. We've also got a slider going across, so it's that can be sometimes a little bit distracting in terms of looking at the different options and the different, I think it's product categories in this case again. What do you think, Tim?
Well, I definitely agree with you on the mobile menu. I think you deal with the fact that you have to have a hamburger menu on mobile, but it's not ideal. But on desktop, you definitely want, a fixed menu. If you think about the work that we want to reduce work of the customer, right? Just making a video about McDonald's drive-throughs. Why does a drive-through exist? What's the point? People just drive through, they're in their car anyway, they then go and sit in their car in the car park to eat. But it works because it reduces friction. We want to reduce friction. We don't even want people to have to leave their car. We definitely don't want people to have to click twice before they even get to see what our product categories are. So if I want to find overcoats, I've got to go through 1, 2, I've got to open that, then I've got to go 3, and then I've got to go 4. So I've got 4 clicks before I can even see a product category. Whereas if you've got a drop-down menu system, I think we had a look at one earlier, the site where there was one earlier, I can't remember which one it is, but I'm sure if we go to any of these other sites, here we've got drop-down system. I haven't had to click at all. I just move my mouse and the thing shows. So I definitely look at that. Other than that, the site layout looks pretty good. I agree. The product photography is excellent. These product pages are going to be absolutely key for you because we want to replicate the feeling of someone coming into the store and having a look at the item in detail. And what I would say is 2 images is not going to cut it. Let's imagine that I had no idea who you were. I had no idea the quality of the product at all. And I'm trying to make a decision between you and someone who I already know. Now, maybe the look of this coat would make me just buy it immediately without any of my other questions answered, but I doubt it. What I would really like to see here is someone who looks like a tailor explaining the detail elements on this coat. So here are the buttons. Now we use a particular type of button, and let me tell you a bit about why we use them, because they're durable. They also look excellent. Now we use a different type of button on many of our different coats, but the reason we've chose this particular button for this coat is this. Now you'll notice that this has a fancy lining. You're going to give it a great name. This is because a lot of our customers want to express their personality on the inside, but they maybe don't want to be whatever it is. So this is basically, like we said earlier, and it's an infomercial for people who are considering buying this product. So we need to replicate or even enhance the experience of someone coming into the store. When they come into the store, what they're not going to do is look at it on a mannequin, fold up the jacket, have a look and say, this is the one for me. Right? They're going to take it off the hanger. They're going to examine it. They're going to look at it in different lights. I haven't even seen this on a person, and I haven't seen it on a person like me. So I don't know how this is going to work with my particular build or anything like that. So if we think about the possible objections that someone might have to buying this product. Now, you're probably thinking, this is a freaking ridiculous amount of work, Tim. You're giving me 10 years worth of work to sell this one product. We have 300 products on the site. Can you just get lost and just make it easy for me? Here's the thing though, we don't have to do all of this because none of your competitors are going to be doing a fabulous job of this. If you can just do half of it, you're so much further than everyone else. And the further that you can go with it, the more of this product that you're going to sell. So yeah, I would just consider how we can replicate that in-person experience much more than we're doing at the moment. Where with a simple t-shirt and smart jeans for the weekend, or combined with a suit for a more formal look. Okay, show me some looks. Show me some styles. Show me how people wear it. Like, or you need to convince me that this is the product for me. And at the moment, I'm not there yet. And not just because I'm a slob that only wears Nike. Someone says copy boohoo style of marketing. Potentially, but like Manon says, lifestyle lookbook images rather than just e-com. Yes, exactly. Because this is a lifestyle purchase. We are selling people. If this is the city sleek navy overcoat, I want to see that city sleek person walking through the streets looking absolutely banging, thinking, I need to sort myself out. That's what I want to look like. So yeah, I'd completely agree with that. Missing pictures with models, totally agree. So yeah, go harder at it, definitely. Marcus Landauer just shouted Tim in capitals. I don't know, Marcus. Sorry, can you rephrase the question? Okay, right. We are almost out of time. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your sites today. Thank you, Freddie, for joining us. It's been wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Give Freddie a virtual round of applause for his first Facebook Live. You're an intimidating bunch, so he's done exceptionally well. 15% of your first order is pretty bold. That's Not bad. I'll probably get that up right at the start. Maybe it's an exit pop-up or whatever. Yeah, anyway, that's beside the point. We finished this now. So next week, same time, 10:30 on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Not sure what the topic is going to be yet. The week after, on the 29th, we're going to be joined by Abby. Abby is our head of email marketing. So we're going to be talking all about email marketing. Great suggestion, Liesel, who sent over that request. We're going to be deconstructing email marketing campaigns. We're going to take you behind the scenes of the Exposure Ninja email marketing machine. Your mind is going to dissolve when you see what's going on behind the scenes, but there are lots of lessons in there, and we're going to brainstorm email marketing stuff live for attendees. So yeah, not sure how we're going to make that work on a share, so tune in to watch the hilarity, but it's going to be great because Abby's an absolute beast when it comes to email marketing. So tune in next week and the week after. Thank you all. Thank you, Freddie. Have a good weekend. Remember, we've still got a whole bunch of the week left, so don't turn off until Friday is finished. Friday afternoon is not coasting time. Friday afternoon is getting ahead time. You've got this. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.